Are you confused about the difference between chemical and physical changes and how to distinguish between them? Well, today we are going to discuss the changes in matter. Chemical change. A chemical change results from a chemical reaction, whereas a physical change occurs when matter changes forms but not its chemical identity. A chemical change occurs when atoms rearrange themselves to establish new chemical bonds, resulting in a new compound. A chemical reaction is always present when a chemical change occurs. The basic components and the finished result are chemically distinct. Our first example of chemical change is cooking an egg. Why is cooking an egg a chemical change? The uncurled egg white proteins establish new chemical connections. New particles are generated when chemical connections are broken or established. As a result, frying an egg results in the production of new particles, which is chemical change. Our second example is heating sugar to form caramel. Why is heating sugar to form caramel a chemical change? Sugar decomposes at a temperature of between 184 and 186 degrees Celsius, which is the chemical reaction we are most familiar with. This results in a reaction known as beta elimination, which yields hydroxymethylfurfural. The fluid darkens in color and takes on stronger caramel flavor. Our next example is grilling a hamburger. Why is grilling a hamburger a chemical change? Because when the temperature rises, the chemical composition of the meat changes. The molecules in the meat are changed, resulting in the production of new flesh or material. Grilling hamburgers causes a chemical reaction as four distinct symptoms demonstrate. Our next example is baking a cake. Why is baking a cake a chemical change? The ingredients in a cake undergo a chemical transformation when they are baked. When the molecules that make up two or more compounds are rearranged to form a new substance, this is called a chemical change. You have a variety of ingredients when you start baking. The heat from the oven was required for the cake to change. Our next example is mixing baking soda and vinegar to produce carbon dioxide gas. Why is mixing baking soda and vinegar a chemical change? Because one is an acid and the other is a base. Mixing baking soda and vinegar will generate a chemical reaction. When vinegar is put to baking soda, a reaction happens. The reaction of carbon dioxide gas and gas bubbles is evidence of a chemical reaction in this event. Physical change. Many physical changes can be reversed if enough energy is provided. A chemical change can only be reversed through another chemical reaction. A physical change does not result in the formation of new chemical species because the identity of the matter does not change. Changing the state of a pure substance from soil to liquid or gas is a physical change. Changes in the physical qualities but not chemical properties are part of a physical transformation. Our first example of physical change is breaking a glass. Why is breaking a glass a physical change? Because the shards are still glass and no new substance is generated. Breaking a glass is a physical change. Our next example is chopping an apple. Why is chopping an apple a physical change? A physical and chemical change occurs when an apple is cut. Cutting an apple changes the size and the shape of the apple, hence it's a physical alteration. Our next example is mixing water and oil. Why is mixing water and oil a physical change? When oil and water are combined, neither substance changes and no new substance is created. The water is still water and the oil is still oil. Physical qualities such as melting point, boiling point, slipperiness, color, odor, and density are retained. Our next example is shredding a paper. Why is shredding paper a physical change? Because the paper is not changed and the shredding process is reversible. This is a physical change. When you shred the paper, you can repurpose it as new paper. The only thing is that is altering is the size or appearance of the page. Our next example is melting an ice cube. Why is melting an ice cube a physical change? As an ice cube melts and gains the capacity to flow, its shape changes. Its makeup, on the other hand, remains constant. A physical change like as melting is an example. A physical change to a sample of matter occurs when some of the material's attributes changes but the matter's identity does not. Physical change does not result in the synthesis of new substances, whereas chemical change does. In nature, physical changes are typically reversible, but chemical changes are mostly irreversible. Chemical and physical changes occur all the time in our environment. Food digestion, combustion, osmosis, and phase transitions are all examples of changes that occur in our daily lives. Some of the chemical and physical changes that occur on a regular basis, however, are damaging to the environment.